Hey, hello, boys and girls and kids of all ages. Tonight we are going to try to show you how to do some service on the Section 50 Lionel Gang Car. This was one of Lionel's most popular things that they ever produced, and they're just a whole lot of fun to have on your layout as, you know, they were called motorized units, and this is the first one to come out. They had several after this, and it will hit something with the bumper, and voila, reverse direction. Now they're pretty fast, so they are cool to have. And if you got kids, they'll love playing with it, and you don't have to worry about them ever doing anything to it, or because it's practically indestructible. As far as servicing it, if you don't do anything else when you get this car, make sure you put some oil in the center plastic right there between the two brush holders that are metal. Make sure to put a couple drops at least of oil down there, because it's where the armature is, and it needs some lubrication, because usually these have been sitting around for 20, 30 years. You can pick one up nowadays for around, I would say, 25 to $70, depending on the condition. And if it has the men, which are usually missing, but I happen to have the two men that go to this one. They're just loose, and fortunately, the previous owner did did give them to me. Okay, I did drop a couple drops of oil down, and it ran. But tonight we're going to service it. I recommend also that you get a Scotch-Brite. Never use steel wool on any Lionel product. And scrub the wheels. If they're stubbornly dirty, take a little 91% alcohol, dip it on the Scotch-Brite, scrub a dub on the wheels. Take your cotton swabs. These will become very valuable in your house if you work on trains. Me and the wife fight about them all the time now. Well, we're always buying them. And you will see the muck come off. And more muck. And you just try to keep wiping the wheel until you can get it as clean as you can. Take your needlepoint oiler, oil in between these spots, between the frame and the wheels, and also put a drop on each end of the roller. Like I said, also take the Scotch-Brite and scrub that roller up a little bit. This way you'll get good electrical contact. Now there are two screws on top of this, which you remove. It's just a Phillips screwdriver. Well, all you will need for this whole thing here. It's the only tool you will need. And there's also this guy in the back. He just pops right off. And you set him in your parts thing where you've got your screws already. And you take this screw out. Okay, now the body will lift out, parts will fall everywhere. Take the body, set it aside. This is the thing that makes the guy rotate, as you see there, and there's the gate, which also will go back in on the back. This goes right back here. When we put it back together, there's a hole there, you can see. And it goes against the teeth of the mechanism that pushes the car back and forward, forward and reverse when it hits something. Okay, we're going to then take this, the hood, and lift it back, because as you can see, it's connected by 2 wires, and if it does break, no big deal. Just remember where you have to solder that to put them back on. As you can see, this hasn't been taken care of in a while. The armature itself will lift right out. You pull that out, and we're going to clean that in a minute. You put that in your old parts thing, and as you see, what you've basically got left is the field and the motor. That, you know, creates the magnetism when the electric hits it and all that good stuff. You will have to have, this will be your most valuable thing you will have in model train cleaning, is CRC electronic cleaner. You can now get it at Walmart for about $4.50 a can. I used to pay about $8 at AutoZone, but now Uncle Wally's has got it cheaper. So, and you know, for all these parts, you really don't have to waste your expensive electric cleaner on it. You can take, you know, just a swab with the alcohol and get in here and clean that. You know, this one's particularly dirty, as most of them are. Clean that up a little bit with this, with the swab. Get most of the grease out that you can. So somebody really packed the grease in this one. You know, I would say it's over lubricated. So what I'll do later on is get a can of brake cleaner and shoot it down in there over a slop sink and get some of that stuff out. I mean, more. We don't need that much grease in there. Not that much. A little bit's good, but I would say that's overdoing it a little bit on these. Okay, so you got that, and now we're going to get our swab again and some more alcohol. I try to do everything the cheapest way I can. That way I keep my costs down for my customers and for myself. And you'll begin to clean this plate and remove all the muck and, you know, carbon from the brushes and excess things from here. This will take a little while. You'll get good at it. And you know, you can also, if you like to spend money, you can use your CRC, and I like to use it inside of the brush holders themselves. There's 2 holes there. Kind of put the swab in there and clean that brush holder out the best you can. Okay? You have to kind of take the Q-tip and make a thing out of it so you can get all the way up in there. You know, you want that brush to ride in and out, free of obstruction. As you can see, I do have it in there. And, you know, you want to keep repeating this process until you see this swab come out pretty clean. Doesn't have to be 100% clean, but, you know, 80 somewhere. See, look how much better already. Somewhere around there is sufficient. But, you know, you should have them clean. And you'll get, you know, the best ride again out of the gang car. And you know, while you've got it all tore apart here, like I said, try to be careful that you don't break these solder leads. They're on there pretty good from the factory, and you can mess with it a little bit. Spray that, spray that thing down there. Right there, hooked to with the CRC. Clean up around the frame as best as you can. And now we're back to our brushes that we pulled out of these two slots. And they ride in here on top of the armature. Okay, we're going to set our brushes aside for one moment. You want to keep everything organized as you go along, of course, which is notoriously hard to do for some reason. And this is a real good time, too, to take your body and take it to a sink and scrub it with a toothbrush. Okay? We're not going to do that right now at this moment. We're going to get the armature back, and we're going to clean that. You'll take a toothpick and you will spray the top of the armature. Now notice there are 3 segments there. What by segments I mean these slots. Take the toothpick and go between the slots and clean the slots. Don't go and don't break where it meets, but you see you will get some junk out of there. This is basic on every train. You will do this and get that stuff out of there. Okay? And then, you know, normally we would spray it again, and you repeat the process on and on. Take a swab, clean off the top of it as good as you can. And if you want to be real cool, you can get a piece of like 2500 wet sanding paper and really shine it. This one's okay as it is. Okay, make sure this washer goes back on. There are two of them there. Because believe me, you need every part on these trains. If they could left one out, they would have. You set your armature back in there, and that part of it's done. Now you'll notice as you go along, your hands will be getting greasy. Once again, keep a handy stack of paper towels, your 91% alcohol. Keep wiping your hands, getting that grease and that junk off of you as you go. Okay, next we're going to clean the brushes. We're going to reuse these brushes. We have a piece, just a paper towel, and we're going to put a little electric cleaner on it, and we'll take our brushes and roll them around on the paper towel. They will become clean. It's probably hard to see, but they will get clean. Okay, you're going to take your spring, roll that around in that stuff. Make sure it's clean and got the gunk off. Okay, and you'll see there's a little end on one of the brushes, on the end of one of the brushes. You put the spring back on there, and well, we're not going to do that yet. I will clean the other brush and then show you how to put it back in. Take your CRC, spray it on a paper towel, and you can also, if you'd like, take your 2500 sandpaper and run the brushes across it once